Hey everyone, this is Platypus here from Black Gaming, and I'm back with another video. This video is going to be a little bit different than the ones I have posted earlier before. This is going to be starting off my collection videos, which I'm going to be posting variously throughout the rest of this week. I'm going to start off with the collection of games that this first system I ever got in my life. I got quite a bit of collection, and the reason why I'm doing this is also because I got a pretty interesting game to show you that I just picked up for it. So let's begin, shall we? Alright, so pretty much the first game that I wanted to show you is facing face down right now. And the reason why is because I just wanted to show you what I got recently. I just didn't want to ruin the surprise right away. So I'm going to flip it over and I'll show you what I picked up. This was actually going to be a separate video of what I picked up this week. 4 games, but I just decided to make this a whole collection video. So the game I picked up recently was Bomberman: The Second Attack. You can see here, it cost me $21.99. There's like a pen on it. It's not awful, but from a far all the way distance, it actually is pretty good condition. Like you said, the only thing I really noticeable is the pen. And I cleaned it out, works perfectly, and like I said, it was a good price considering this game goes about for $50, $60 on eBay. So interesting thing is this is one of the rarest games on the N64. So it's Bomberman 64: The Second Attack. I didn't even realize this game was even made until years after I had the N64. Like, I found this game and I heard about this game actually in 2008, 2009, and I kind of wanted to get it, but I never did. And finally, yesterday, on December 3rd, yeah, December 3rd, no, 2nd, my bad, March 2nd, 2012, my bad, I'm sorry. I decided to pick this up, which is nice because it's $22. Alright, I'm just gonna stop it and I'll show you the other game I picked up sorta recently, but not super recently. Okay, so let's start. First game that I have on my list is 1080 Snowboarding. It's a very generic sports game. It was a quick cash-in for Nintendo, and it's not awful, but it's nothing that I would like I said, go rush out and buy it because, you know, it's generic 1080 snowboarding. Second game, Banjo-Kazooie. I got the price tag. I paid $11 for this, yeah. Very good platforming game. This was a really amazing game. I really liked the whole, like, concept of the game where you have to rescue your sister. And really, it's just, it's a fun little game, fun platformer, and probably one of the better 3D platformers out there, especially on the N64. Third game I should say, is Banjo-Tooie. This is the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie, and as you can tell, it's pretty much the same game with a few changes here and there. Interesting part is that you can buy both of these games on the Xbox Live Marketplace for 1,200 points or $15 each. However, I do prefer the original carts. Not only because they're cheaper, it's just because it's the original game. Fourth game on my list, I keep saying second now, Bomberman 64. This was very interesting considering the other Bomberman games when they came out. They were pretty much like the same. You just eliminate all the enemies on screen and proceed to the next mission. This actually had a story behind it, which is really cool considering that you could play it single player as well as you could play multiplayer with your friends. This was really a good game, and it was really undersold. It was very underrated. I recommend if you love Bomberman, try this out. It's a pretty good adventure game. And then if you guys don't remember, I'm going to put this, Bomberman: The Second Attack, right after it. Now, I might as well just explain the game now. It's, again, there's actually a single-player element to the game. The reason I kind of get baffled is this is called Bomberman 64: The Second Attack. There was a game that was between Bomberman 64 and The Second Attack. It was called Bomberman Hero. I don't know why I never picked it up yet, considering I do love the Bomberman games. But this is the same thing. It had a single-player element as well as multiplayer, which was cool. And this one was very short-printed. This is one of the rarest games on the N64 library, so I just wanted to put that in because that's where it fits normally. Okay, let's see what's next. Castlevania for the N64. Now, yeah, this does have a nice little tear on it. But this is actually a pretty fun game if you like the 3D Castlevania games. It was kind of a disappointment for some of the die-hard Castlevania games on the NES, considering they got rid of the 2D platforming, which actually was on the PlayStation for Symphony of the Night, which is actually my favorite Castlevania. However, this isn't bad, but don't expect, NES Castlevania on N64. They weren't planned to be like that. The game right after that is the sequel, Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Again, this was one of the harder games to find. It's not overly expensive. You can find it for about, if you're lucky, I think I picked mine up for $18 or $20, one of the two. I know you can find it on eBay for like $20, $25 again. I'm saying you could probably find it for a pretty good price still. It's, like, again, the same as the first game, but there's, like, added features, like you could turn it into a werewolf, and there's a little bit different story. I think it actually takes place before the original Castlevania and the N64. Next game is Conker's Bad Fur Day. This is another rare game. This costs about $40 on eBay, and I actually kind of have an interesting story. When I got this game, I bought it in 2003 at Toys R Us. See, Toys R Us, they had these surplus N64 games that they wanted to sell. One of the games was Conker's Bad Fur Day. They had 2 copies left, and I bought the game brand new for $5. Yeah, $5. Brand new, so it was really a good find for me back then. However, my mom actually threw away the box and the instructions, and I was like, no, why'd you do that? Sadly, oh well. Well, if I did have it, it would be worth like $90 to $100. And if I kept it sealed when I was little, I could have had like $400 game. However, I don't. But, like I said, it's still fun to play. And it's still, like I said, worth more than what I paid. I paid $5. It's worth like $40. Cruisin' USA. This was one of those, like, I think this was like a N64 port of the arcade game, Cruisin' USA. It wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't as good as the arcade version, but some people are making it like seem worse than what it really was. I don't think it was that bad, but I could be wrong. Next game, Dark Rift. This was a really crappy fighting game that was released on the N64. It was one of the earlier games, and I remember playing this, and I was just like, this game sucks. I have it, but it's not really that great. Disappointment. Oh well. Now we have Doom 64. Doom 64 is one of those, I'm trying to think. It's like Quake 64, where I believe it was its own sort of game, and it didn't really use the full capability of the 64-bit graphics, but it was still a fun shooter game if you loved like first-person shooters. However, if I would recommend a shooter, I'd recommend a game that I'm going to show later, and I'm pretty sure everyone who's had an N64 probably knows what the hell I'm talking about. Next, Donkey Kong 64. This was a very fun, interesting game for many reasons. First of all, in order to play Donkey Kong 64, you needed to buy the expansion pack. The expansion pack was included when you bought this game, but like if you bought it used or whatever, you had to buy it, which cost like $20-something. Not to also mention that there are many games that actually have expansion pack capabilities. This was like the only game that actually came with it, though. And let me tell you, Donkey Kong 64 is one of the last great exclusives on the console. Very fun game. I really thought like the multiplayer was good. You could play as 5 different monkeys. let's get moving. F-Zero X. Now, just to guys let you know, I bought it like this. I got it a long time ago. I forgot what place had it, but it was like a clearance, and I picked this up. But trust me, guys, I would never leave my games in this shitty condition. I mean, this is awful. However, the game works, and I don't know if you can see it, but the pins are all screwed up, but whatever. It works, surprisingly. Next game is Gauntlet Legends. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this game was one of the games I loved to play in the arcades. I loved, like, those repetitive kill endless waves of enemies. So this was a good port over to the N64. There was also a port to the PlayStation and to the Dreamcast. But, well, I got the N64 port, which is still pretty good. Only one problem, which I forgot to mention about the Castlevania games, is that you needed a controller pack to save the games. Why? I don't get it. Considering, you know, like, the cartridges had the abilities to do it, they decided to make the control pack. Probably cheaper. Wouldn't be shocked. Next is Gex 64, Enter the Gecko. This was one of those, this was not the first Gex. The first Gex was on the Saturn computer and PlayStation, I believe, and it was a 2D side-scroller. This was a 3D one, and, well, let me just say, it was average at best. It was like you go into like different types of movie cliche things, and it was like an interesting concept. But overall, I believe that, you know, it could have been better. Now here's the game that I was talking about, GoldenEye 007. If you've never played GoldenEye on the N64, you are missing out on probably the best shooter game on it, because GoldenEye is amazing. And overall, I believe that if you love GoldenEye, you love shooter games, and you have an N64, pick this up. This is amazing. I think I'm going to stop it right here and maybe clear up some of my disk space on my camera, and I'll continue with part 2.